Hey guys, so I am at home chilling, waiting to go out. My 21st birthday is at midnight, so I'm gonna make a real quick video about reasons to go vegetarian. This is just kind of an overview. I might go into more details about specific aspects of these different things that I'm gonna talk about in later videos, just because it's something that I could talk about for literally hours. So I've been vegetarian since October of 2015, so we're going on 4 years now. I had tried to go vegetarian a few other times before that. The first time I tried to go vegetarian was when I was like 7 or 8, and I realized really quick, I don't know how to make anything other than peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So that lasted about a week. Tried it again in high school, lasted about 9 months, and then I tried it again in 2015, and we've been going good ever since. And then intermittently throughout that time period, I've been vegan. So trying to do that again. I've slipped up a few times again. We're just gonna talk about real quick some of the most compelling reasons I believe there are to go vegetarian or vegan, because there's a lot. So we're kind of just gonna gloss over the animal part of it, well, not the animal part of it, but the cruelty that the animals face, just because I think that a lot of times people don't necessarily go vegetarian or vegan for that. I think a lot of people do, but I think a lot of people that are really like hard and stuck on their I love meat don't care about that. So they do face enormous cruelty, and it is disgusting and awful and horrible how we treat these animals. The average pig has the average mental capacity of a 3-year-old. So I mean, if you're not gonna eat a 3-year-old, you're not gonna eat a pig. Like might be a little bit of an over-exaggeration there, but they do have a very, very high mental capacity at the equivalent age of like a 3-year-old. But we're gonna go straight into, you know what, we'll start off with not my most compelling reason. My most compelling reason is the environment. We're gonna start at health, which is kind of why I've done it, but not the most compelling reason for me. I'm not a health vegan. But a big reason that I think a lot of people should go vegetarian, even if you don't have a history of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, any of those issues that can be mitigated by a vegetarian or vegan diet. One of the biggest issues is antibiotic resistance, which is a huge deal, and it's not really getting any attention. But antibiotic resistance, because we pump these animals just full of antibiotics, even if they aren't sick, just pump them full. Chick-fil-A recently said that by some year they're gonna stop selling chickens raised on antibiotics, which is good. Like, that's a good start. I don't condone animal agriculture, obviously, but it's good that they're not going to use antibiotics, because antibiotics resistance is so real, and it's going to be a big issue. People have already started to become resistant to these antibiotics, and you can look more into that. It's very complicated. I only took an intro level biology class. I don't have a firm understanding on biology, but it is an issue. It is important. Antibiotic resistance, if that is the only health reason that you want to go vegetarian or vegan for, it is a good one. Then we'll go into another thing that I don't think is super compelling for a lot of people, is factory worker conditions. So back after Upton St. Clair's The Jungle was released, a lot of meat industry became a really good field for a lot of people. It paid well. It was typically very safe and regulated after this book was released. But now it's a lot of immigrants work in animal agriculture, and they work in these factories, and a lot of them might be illegal, and so they don't want to report all these bad things that are happening to them. There's whole documentaries about this type of stuff and how horribly workers are treated, and it's not a safe environment, and that's also a good one if you care about people. Again, we're not going to go into a ton of detail in most of these. The next reason that I'm going to talk about, again, just real quick, is human population growth, and how what we're doing now is unsustainable. If growth trends right now, a lot of people speculate that by 2050 we'll be at 9.6 billion people. Some people think more. I personally think it's going to be a little bit more if we don't kill ourselves first. But human population growth trends are some of the most interesting things in my mind. And so if our trends continue, there is no way that we are going to be able to sustain the population. Already where we're at, if everyone ate like Americans, we wouldn't be able to feed everyone. Americans eat the most meat out of any country. Americans eat the most, with an average of 270.7 pounds of meat per year. That is a lot of meat. You're eating a lot of meat. Think about 270 pounds of animals. You're eating that. Gross. So yeah, projected growth. 75% of the world's agriculture goes to meat production. So, I mean, this is just real simple to think about. 75% of the world's of the world's agriculture goes into meat production. So, grain. First of all, cows aren't meant to eat grain. That's the whole reason we have E. coli breakouts. Cows aren't meant to eat grain. Meant to eat grass, but we feed them grain because it's cheaper, and they don't grow grass on the CAFOs, centralized animal feeding operations. Disgusting. It's disgusting. I'm trying not to go off because this is something that I'm super, super passionate about. So yeah, basically, it takes a lot more energy and resources to raise a pound of meat than it does to raise a pound of wheat. Very, very different. So not only is it super destructive to the environment, which we're about to talk about, but it's unsustainable. This is something that is completely unsustainable. If we keep going how we're going, we won't have enough resources to feed the world population. We already don't. If we would instead invest all of this land that we're using to feed cattle into feeding people, we wouldn't have the global like hunger crisis that we do. We have a global hunger crisis, and it would be just not an issue at all if we would direct these resources into feeding people instead of feeding cattle. But no, you just had to eat your bacon this morning, didn't you? Wasn't even that good, was it? No, I don't think so. So now we're going to talk about what I am most passionate about, and is the reason that I went vegetarian, vegan. And it is the environment. The animal agriculture is the leading cause of ocean dead zones, deforestation, climate change, all of that. Oh my gosh. Okay, again, I'm trying not to go crazy because I'm about to go crazy. So, I'm going to throw some numbers at you real quick, just so you believe me. It takes, we're going to skip over pork and whatever, because that doesn't matter. We're going to focus on beef. 1,799 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef. 1 pound of beef. So if you just think, we're going to go back all the way to, let's start at the root of animal agriculture, which is, again, like I said, grain and corn. 75% of the world's agriculture goes into meat production. So as you can imagine, this causes massive deforestation. There's a ton of deforestation specifically in South America. That way we can raise these grains and corn to feed to cattle. Again, they're not supposed to eat it anyways. So we're clear cutting forest to grow this. So we can trace the water all the way back to there. We're raising that. Then we can take into account transportation costs. We got to get the grain to processing, and then we got to get it to the CAFOs, and these CAFOs produce obscene amounts of greenhouse gases. It is disgusting. People make jokes kind of about cow farts and methane, but it's a big deal. Like, methane is seriously so detrimental to the atmosphere, and people don't realize it. People make jokes about it, and it's not funny. So we're going to these CAFOs, and that's where a lot of this runoff, that was the whole reason there was an E. coli breakout in spinach, was because of runoff from a CAFO. Spinach doesn't produce E. coli. It's from the guts of these cattle. And these manure lagoons that run off into spinach fields, whatever, is down below. I'm from Arkansas, and there was a big issue with them wanting to put a hog farm on the Buffalo River. The Buffalo River is it's the first national river in America. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, and they wanted to put a hog farm really, really close to it. Luckily, it was canceled, didn't go through, they didn't allow it. Would have been really, really bad, because the runoff from these hog farms is disgusting. It's disgusting. If you don't want it near you, it's gross. I got a little bit off on a tangent there. We'll go back. We'll go back. And so water, it takes just a ton of water to run these facilities, and then when you go and you butcher them, the meat's like washed. And it's gross, and it takes a ton of water. It's absolutely disgusting and horrible, and makes me want to vomit thinking about it. So back to the greenhouse gases. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, 18% of greenhouse gas emissions is directly tied to global meat production. Some people put that at a higher number if you look at man-made greenhouse gas emissions. So it's a little bit different, man-made and just global. So man-made greenhouse gas emissions, some people put that even up to like 50%, is directly tied to animal agriculture. Just kind of depends on what you're looking at, but there's different statistics depending on what exactly you're looking at. But regardless, it is a huge, huge, huge toll on the environment. And that is why I don't partake in the meat anymore, because first of all, it's not that good. It's bad for your health. Both sides of my family have a history of like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, diabetes, so it's not worth it for me. I don't want any of those things. Processed meat is a class 1 carcinogen classified by the World Health Organization, which is the same classification as cigarettes. So if you don't smoke cigarettes because you don't want cancer, don't eat processed meat because you don't want cancer. So yeah, that was a lot of reasons, and I just kind of threw that all at your face. But if you found any of these reasons particularly compelling, let me know in the comments below, and I'll go into a full video about that. So I can do a full video about health. I can do a full video about animals, the animals, how poorly they're treated, more about like human population growth trends, because that's so interesting. Oh gosh, it's so interesting. So yeah, just let me know. I'll probably do a video about tips on going vegan or vegetarian later on. So yeah, let me know what you think. Again, I still really, really, really want to do my sustainable fashion video, but I don't want to do it until I have more subscribers, because I'm really, really excited for it. So please help me. Like and comment and subscribe on this video if you love me. Good night.